What? It has been a hot minute since I was live. How's everybody doing? I'm not doing that whole thing. Oh, we're gonna wait for people to come in. I'm just gonna invite our guests into the house. Okay, we've got I don't think I've been on live for like a while. But anyway, it's almost like an extension of Temi Talks With, but we're doing something different today. We're speaking with a couple that I know personally, but to you guys, they're a couple and they're brand strategists. They're going to talk more about their business plan, ways they can help you if you have a business as well. But let me invite them in actually so that we can just, it's been so long I've been on Instagram Live. Do I even know how to add people? Let's see. Oh, you can add as a moderator. What does adding as a moderator mean? Does that mean you can add? Or maybe, not necessarily add as a moderator. Let's see if that works. Apology, and for me, if you guys can see what adding as a, or maybe just request to join the live. But anyway, how's everyone doing? Nice vibes today. Weather was lovely. Spring is really springing, as they say. Okay, I don't think this moderator thing. Let me see if it works. So I've added them. Oh, hello.
Hey.
Good evening. Hey, family.
How are you guys doing? We're good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm tired. I've been on news for me. I've been working out. You know, going to the gym again. Early.
I went boxing. Summer 2023, yeah.
Summer 20. Even if it's not this summer that it manifests, let the baking take place now, and then we can we can have like a fruitful at least 2024. Yeah. But I had a little. How are you guys?
Yes, good. We've actually just come back from a child-free weekend, so we had we left the little ones with the grandma, and we shot forth to a hotel break. So we just forgot about them for 24 hours maybe. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys really didn't. Does Elsie call you?
Only one. Only one. She's like, "What are you doing? Where are you? Where are you?"
Who's
exactly.
this?
No, we did a FaceTime. Yeah.
New phone. Kids, who's this?
The thing with Elsie is we can't tell her. We can't really tell her exactly where we are because she gets FOMO. So we were away working. Because then she does that.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
I hear you. I was gonna say before we get into the gist of kind of what we're speaking about today, and obviously get into I did have the thing. Obviously, the pleasure of live is that even if we can always save it and then, replay it and whatnot. But in terms of, I think it's really good. It's good to have this opportunity to speak because it's kind of something that I necessarily, you guys know me. Bology is the creator of my website, which working with me must be the hardest thing to do. But you managed to do it.
It's actually quite pleasant, to be fair.
We haven't
I've had worse.
Okay. Okay.
No,
well, if the comparable is a bit, I don't know. But I did just a little bit of context for the people that are tuning in. I did an interview with Bology's brother Ayo, who's a doctor, based in the north.
Yes,
north,
it's the north. Yeah, north of.
Is that the north?
Of where you are? Yeah.
Yeah, based in the north. In the north. And basically speaking on he's basically written a book about it's there, we can read it. Sorry, the interview is there, but he went through how do I he suffered
it was a stroke.
Was it a stroke?
Yeah, he went through a stroke. Yeah,
it was a stroke, which was obviously as a doctor, very interesting, because obviously people, you know, you're a doctor, you're making people feel better, so it must have been quite a challenging time. Well, it was a challenging time for him, so we had that conversation, and
It's
in terms of like what the book
called
speaks about,
Building Blocks,
and just
for anybody who wants to buy it.
building
It's a
blocks.
very good
I've
book,
got it here.
by the way. Very good book. We helped him to launch it as well, which we're going to talk about. But yes, it's a very good book.
So yeah, so definitely, but
Yeah.
but so just keeping on with the trend, and obviously being family and stuff. We just have a chat, and I think it's also good for me as well, because obviously there's a lot, like, you've given me information, you fed me information in terms of what you guys do, but it's good to actually hear and speak on it, because I may not, I honestly, like, I can read masses of info, but when you actually apply it to what you do and how you've helped businesses as well, I think this will be a really, really good opportunity for you guys to kind of like, and hopefully, you know, you're growing businesses, we can grow businesses together. And as like I was saying, you've helped me on my journey, in my hair journey, you've helped me do my website and stuff like that. We've had chats and consultation, and I know there's a wealth of stuff that you guys offer as a couple, and what you've done before. So maybe like just Ology, for me, maybe take it away initially from an introduction, and then I can like prompt with questions and stuff like that. But the floor is literally yours.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on your platform. You know, I know we're family, but you know, we appreciate you having us on. So, thank you. So yes, about us.
So, I mean, we are a couple, as you already mentioned, but we also work together. So we both have an interest in all things digital. You know, we have backgrounds in project management, and so our love for, I guess, technology and business has led us to like, you were dabbling with like websites and that kind of thing like years and years ago. But then we were like, okay, like, let's make this a serious thing. So we've got into the agency space like 2019, where, you know, we're taking it more seriously, working with businesses on developing their brand, on their business strategy, on helping them to launch, on really working with them on how they can attract more clients online and how they can grow their brand. So not just websites, but actually looking at what is that customer journey looking like? What systems are you lacking? And then especially coming out of COVID, lots of businesses were in that place where they're like, okay, I need to move more online, but I don't really know how I can do that. You know, how I can, you know, maybe take some of the stuff that I do in person, save myself some money and some time. How do I do that online? And that's what we help businesses with.
Yes. I was going to say, I like that, the caption that you pinned there, Temi, brand strategy Sundays.
Yeah,
It's got a nice ring to it. I like it.
It could be a series. Who knows? You never know. So I've just kept it I've tapped it in there. So like for business, if you guys, it's easier at the end probably to link you guys' handles and whatnot. Cause I don't know whether they can see it, but I'll be able to link your handles, and then everyone can go onto the page and find out. And I feel like if we're going to be, so in terms of like helping businesses, you guys had businesses of your own as well. And like I said, you've helped me with mine. How did you, before this, what would have been your process then? And then how have you found, because most things are built from understanding that there's a need for something, right? Especially when we launch a project or a business, we understand that in our journey, we weren't able to do X, Y, and Z. So therefore we're trying to find a solution. So what was the kind of journey for that?
I would say, you know, for me, one of the things that I have learned over the years is just everything is transferable, right? So things that, you know, I've done in my career, because I've had a corporate career, things that I've done in projects that I've dabbled in, they've all, I'm using all of those like skills to, you know, deliver the service that we now offer, right? So I've worked in technology for a long time. You know, I've been in systems, I've been doing branding, design, websites for a long time. You know, we've had businesses together, you know, Fumi and I. So what we did is we basically we looked at it from a point of view of, yes, we started a digital agency and we help people with customer acquisition, social media management, and digital product development. But we kind of saw a gap within, I guess, our community. So people like around us, we're all very creative. Everybody that you speak to, like everybody's got some kind of value or some kind of skill or creativity. And we kind of saw it as a bit of a mission and kind of like a purpose-driven endeavor to, you know, offer support. So on top of what we do in terms of our like corporate, you know, contracts and corporate clients that we have, we have a big heart to support our community with the tools, the resources, and the strategies to leverage that creativity and value that they have, and basically take it out to market. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna pitch to you two different businesses, and I want to see how kind of okay. So one would be, let's take my hair brand, for example, a hair company sells hair, B2C, online, in store, relies on social media and word of mouth for sales. And then I've got another one, let's say like a PR company, music PR company. The clients tend to be, maybe we could even say B2B essentially, because an artist isn't, you don't necessarily work with the artist, you work with their team, their management. Aim is to generally get, so let's see how those two examples could work in your business.
Okay, so if we take the hair business first of all, basically every business, regardless of whether you're selling a product, service, you're physical or online, the lifeblood of any business is your pipeline. Like if you have nobody to sell to, your pipeline is going to dry up, right? So so we call that, we basically apply systems to ensure that you always have leads. So we do, one of the things that we do is basically lead generation. So we would set your company up with a lead generation strategy, and it might be Facebook ads or paid advertising, or it might be what we call organic, where we would work out, like you're quite active on social media, so we'd probably work out a strategy for your content that would generate leads. But then once those leads have been generated, then there's a case of, the other half of the coin is, part one is, generate leads, have a pipeline. Part two is close those leads. So somebody that is a lead, they need to be converted to a customer. So we have systems and strategies that will allow companies to do that in a repeatable way. Because what usually happens is you can make a sale here or there, but like if you're running a business, you want to be able to predict your revenue. You want to be able to forecast. Like no one likes this feast and famine kind of situation. And when you have a side hustle, right? And we've all been there, right? And because we're all, many of us have this side hustle culture, which there's nothing wrong with, but it's about turning your side hustle into something that can be like a revenue generating business. But one more thing I would say for your hair business, we found that a great business model to apply to any physical business is look at how you can turn it into a digital business, or how you can apply like a digital product strategy.
Even as a hair, even though the physical thing is hair, it's not
exactly.
Digital,
so how we would do that for your business would be, so if you're like I said, the main part of the strategy is to generate leads. So how can you generate leads on repeat without saying, oh, come and buy my hair, right?
Because that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, like
come and buy.
So we have a framework that we apply for every one of our businesses, and it's so simple that you'd be surprised how well it works, right? So we call it the three step like launch framework. So step one would be you want to get somebody's attention, but instead of saying come and buy, you would say something like, I have something to give you. I have something to give you that is valuable, right? But it's going to be like very cheap for you to put together, very like low barrier to entry. And then the second part two would be you would give it to them. So it might be like maybe a masterclass. It might be maybe a free download. It might be a video like explainer of how to, like, what's the best ways of doing hair and things like that. So once you've got them in that offer number two, what's happened is they've moved from somebody who didn't know you to somebody who trusts you a little bit more. And now you can make the pitch that you really wanted to make from the beginning, which is what we call offer three, which is, okay, buy a bundle. Or like,
Absolutely. Okay, so I've lured them in.
You've encouraged them. Exactly. We call it nurturing. Yeah. But where sorry, go ahead.
So I want to just make sure that we keep
Yeah.
on top of some of the comments that we get as well, so we don't lose them. And people. So we've got Bob Buckman. So he said, so I'm in the music business. How to get partnerships with music stream companies like Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Obviously, that's quite specific to what is being asked. But you're saying that this framework applies to anything. So you won't necessarily have to know about the music, but you're saying that that's how. So for example, he could.
It actually does apply to everything. So part of the framework that we implement and we also teach is that 3-offer framework that I mentioned. The first part of it is knowing who your customer is, knowing who is the buyer, right? So in your instance, in your case, it would be people, you know, who for example, that lady, you remember that meme, the lady where her wig fell off and she was like, oh my God, have you seen that? Yeah.
She's in a
but that's your customer, right? That would be your...
Yeah.
You can sell her a wig that will stay on, basically, isn't it?
My wigs don't fall
exactly,
off, by the way. Right? My wigs don't.
So you can reach out to her and solve her problem, like how to keep a wig on your head. But I joke. But to,
I hear you. Yeah. Or even the lady that her wig was stuck with her neighbor. It was her birthday, and she was crying. She was like, "Oh, my hair, it's my birthday. Come back from holiday."
But to Bob Arkman, right? So the thing would be, who is his customer? So he's talked about, what did he say? Label execs, or what was it?
It could be so music, how to get partnerships. So he's looking at partnerships with music streaming companies. I'm assuming from a I don't know if it's from an artist point of view, but if you're an artist, I can see how you'd want that. But
so you would have to identify who is the buyer in that situation. So the buyer in that situation is basically, you know, A&R reps, you know, senior people at the, you know, label, and basically make your offer number one to them. You got to find what's their pain and look at how you as an artist, you know, can offer something that would solve it. But when we work with our clients, we go through like a in-depth strategy session to determine what that would be, right? But going back to the hair example, the question was, you know, how can I turn it, like, how do I do a digital product? So why would a digital product work? So you can basically create like a free download or a free guide that you create it once and then it's just there. And you can just be giving it to people. We can set up what we call a funnel that would just deliver it to people, but it would have a process of getting them, you know, like into your phone book and booking calls, or maybe into your website to basically make purchases. You know what I mean? So
No, even like a MailChimp sort of example, like a into my database, right?
But on that point, we actually have our own software that does that for you. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Also, so it's not. It's like it's an equivalent of that version. So it basically incorporates everyone's email addresses, and then you can send out weekly emails and newsletters.
That's
fantastic.
That's one of the things that it does. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll admit, like, it's quite bad actually from a business perspective, but somebody like me who's been in the hair game for like 13, 14 years, I don't have a mailing list.
We need to talk about that offline. We need to have a chat.
I do not have a mailing list. However, there are great benefits. I mean, I find myself subscribed to so many mailing lists. So, and then I'll give you an example of thanks for answering the question.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry, I have reminders on my Instagram. I'll give an example of something that's actually worked for me. So we were speaking about the gym, and like being athletic earlier, and so I did this whole 2-week trial. So they roped me in with a 2-week trial for free. Did the 2 weeks. I was ready to leave. I thought, you know what, let me take a break because the 2 weeks was quite intense. They were like, no, don't go. We'll give you an offer. You'll get like a subsidized wear classes. I think each used to be like £30 or £40. They're like, you can have a class for £10 each. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sounds good. I'm not interested now, but I'll come back. They said, you know what, we're going to give you one more free one. So I actually joined for the free one, and that free one is now my converter because I've taken it and I'm like, do you know what? I actually want to go for this. So I'm going to now join based on the fact, and they did it quite well because they weren't like bombarding with emails or whatever, but they kind of wrote me in at the point where I was ready to leave and still just saw what my weakness was.
What they did there was a classic example of we're referring to with this three-part framework, right? So the offer number one was they offered you this free trial. Number two was, you know, they extended it and you tested out the gym. You saw that it was something valuable to you. And then, you know, you could not refuse their offer three, which is membership. So got them.
And it's quite interesting actually, because if you look at other examples, like HelloFresh, for example, initially they give you the free box. If you're smart, you tick that you live with a family of 4, got excess food. And then what they do is they gradually build you up to start paying the normal price. So your first box is free, your next one is 60% off. You're still built in with those discounts until you get to a point where you're invested in the company now. You're also so used to the fact that your food is being delivered for you. You can't even bother to go to the shops, or you've at least been able to, because in that time as well, you're able to actually share out codes and stuff and invite other people on. So even if they lose you as a customer, this idea is that
but it's just basically selling, like they know how good the product is, right? So they're selling you the convenience, and because they know who the target customer is, so they know that it's people who value convenience. So even if overall it might work a little bit more expensive once you do it long term, because you experience that convenience, why would you go back to going shopping to the supermarket, having to cook everything from scratch, like having to weigh out all the ingredients? It's like, you're not going to go back.
Yeah, it is long. It's actually very long. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so that's one part of the business. So then what else do you guys like? What else would a brand want to be able to, how would we so
say for example, you provide a service. We might be like a coach or a consultant, or like people like we've got career coaches, we've got people that coach people in property, you know, something that you've got experience in and other people want to learn from you, right? And like the classic example is we've got a lady, she wasn't even a property coach. She just got into property and she just did so well from it. She documented her journey, just kind of celebrated like, oh my, you know, like this is what I did. I started from scratch, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then got like 13 properties within a year. And everyone's like, how are you doing this? You know? And because we know that property is something that, you know, people want to get into, but it seems very unattainable for most of us. Yeah. And she was just you know, sharing. She had no business thinking, you know, in her mind, she was like, I'm just sharing and I'm happy to give people this free thing for free. And we were watching her and we're like, look, people are asking you, teach me. People like, teach me.
Yeah, it's just teach me.
Let's teach me. So we said, okay, put on a masterclass. She put on a masterclass. She charged for the masterclass. People paid for it. They came. Yeah. And then we worked with her and said, look, you don't even need to create your course right now, but let's work on creating your course soon. So like, test out the demand. Let's see if people are interested. And she sold a course to lots of people who were interested, right? We did all the systems for her. So someone like her, she's very busy, right? Because that's not her only business. She has other businesses as well. Yeah. And so I think part of the hesitation for her was, I don't have time for this. You know, I have not time, because lots of us, when we think of business, we've got to do all these things. I've got to do emails. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. But because of our system, right, we can implement a lot of things once and then repeat it, and you don't have to do anything. So she did the masterclass once. She sold that course. She recorded the masterclass, and then we used automations to help her sell that course.
It was all hands off, basically. Yeah. Hey, Nina.
Because I think about what I think, and the reason why, like, I would, as a business, when I'm coming to you guys as a business owner, I feel like sometimes with my reservations with some, you know, some things is that, okay, you're going to ask me for the information, so eventually I'm still going to have to do the information. Yes, you're going to do it for me, the output, but you're going to need me to actually at some point see. And I think that's one of the struggles that we had when I had my website, right? Because I needed to feed you information, and I was the one delaying it, even though you were putting everything together. Without the information, I still need to take that time. Yes, it hurts.
Initially seems daunting.
But just on that, like, we've done it so many times now for so many clients where we have like templates that makes it easier for you. So like, we have a service that is completely done for you, where because we know how the framework of like how things should go, we can just prompt you on the bits of information that we need from you. So it becomes less of a task for you. And it's just more of like, you know, okay, fill out this form, and we'll probably chat to you every so often. But it's like, we just take it off your hands and just deposit money into your account.
Okay. So that sounds good. So now, like, let's look at your system and your business model, right? And you guys essentially are a service and you're delivering a product. What's your first, what are you drawing me in as a customer or your customer? What free item are you giving me as somebody that's not part of it?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
What do you want? We got so much.
The thing is,
money.
But no, you made a good point though. Money.
You got Cash App.
But you made a good point.
It's coming.
You're talking about you want money, right? So one of the things would be, how can you monetize your gift?
Yeah.
How can you monetize your passion? How to turn your idea into a business that can support your lifestyle. Yeah. Right? So we might do like a masterclass on that. Or
we actually I mean, to answer your question, we have training. We've got free trainings for like all of this. So you're asking, what can we give for free? We're actually giving stuff for free all the time. Lena mentioned something about the fear of creating content. So right now, I'm hooked on, have you heard of what ChatGPT is? Sorry, ChatGPT. Oh my God.
Save that for another one.
Basically, it's AI. So.
Okay, why don't you just say AI? Why are you
it's called ChatGPT, as in the application. Okay, anyway, AI, right? So now, people who basically, one of the things that we believe and we like to help people to understand is there is no barrier right now for anyone to get out there. Like everything that you might have said back, you know, before, that would have been something that would stop you from putting yourself out there. There's a solution for it. So some people, you know, oh, I don't like to, you know, I don't have the inspiration to write content. AI, so ChatGPT, I use it quite a lot. It can give you captions. It can give you like, you know, videos. It can give you
website content.
It can do everything for you. So part of the stuff that we do on our program is we not only like, we do it for you. So we will put stuff through ChatGPT, but we'd also teach you. So anybody who works with us, not only do we deliver you, you know, a launch and a business and like monetize your expertise, but you're going to leave that being a bit more skilled than you were beforehand, so that you can now, like we've had people who've come on our program that have been like, oh wow, thanks for, you know, making me money on this side. I can see how I can apply that to that side. You know, so like Miss Hair, for example, there's so much that Miss Hair could do, you know.
I've got perfect example,
basically,
like even how to just lay your wig.
Essentially,
like,
yeah.
That's a
exactly
simple thing. Like I saw a TikTok the other day, a couple of days ago, about basically, I can't remember what the woman did, but it was the most basic of things. And in the comments, they were like, content is getting so basic these days. It's like pouring a glass of water and saying, this is how I keep hydrated. Well, yeah, you're drinking water. Of course.
Buy my course
how you keep
for $997.
Like, but it works. And it actually works. People, you see this content and they have the most ridiculous views, and it's so basic. And nowadays, I think the world we've turned into this place where everyone is being commended for the most obvious, for saying the most obvious of things in the most revolutionary way. It's just like, if they say it in a certain tone, at a certain speed, it sounds like they just said something amazing. And it's like, and it's like, the heck. So I feel like everybody,
honestly,
now's the time.
There are so many reasons why now is the time, but just to pick up on something you said. So like we joke, about, you know, oh, that was basic what you just said, but there is a lesson in there, right? So there are so many things there's so many skills and expertise that we all have, that it's just so normal to you that you believe that, oh, like everybody should know this, like this is not valuable. But you would be surprised at like the most basic of knowledge that you feel like you have is worth so much to somebody else. So yeah, we've given the example of the, you know, pouring water, which is maybe a bit tongue in cheek, but the things that, like, you specifically, things that you know how to do, honestly, I'm not even gonna, not joking, there's like a 7-figure business in everything that you know. There's people who are doing who are like delivering knowledge products from what you do, hair, presenting, media, like, bro.
I know. I've seen examples of brands being like millions of pounds through VC funding, and it's like, because we were saying this, and this is no shade whatsoever to anyone, but we actually, the crux of everything is branding and marketing. Because if you look at I don't want to say because it's like, for example, like for example, HelloFresh. We'll take HelloFresh. They are repackaging products bought in the shop. What they've done, they're quite smart about it, because obviously they've measured everything. But they're just literally, they've gone to Morrison's or the brand. They've bought items. They've even cut them into 10 pieces and said, you're only going to need this much. And then they've now put it into a box, and they've managed to convince investors that this idea of what we're doing is worth X, Y, and Z.
It's convenient.
Convenient.
Because they're tapping into the thing that people value, right? And then
struggle.
Thank you.
Time.
So the thing you have to always look at, what are the things that people value that to them is almost priceless, right? Takeaway, for example. How many people will say to you, like when I used to do fitness training, people used to say to me, "Oh, £40 an hour, that's a bit expensive." But their takeaway that they'll have for one night will be £40, right? Because of the convenience, because they don't need to cook it.
Yeah.
But that is not too expensive. Does that make sense? It's you have.
Yeah, if you had said to me, you're going to work out and my abs will appear, I'll give you your £40.
Convenient, right?
But it's convenience, but it's also messaging. So like this example that you've given, you will only perceive the value if the person who is selling it has like what you just said. If you tell me it's going to give me abs, I'll buy. A lot of us, especially in our community, we disregard the value that we have, but also there's a skill to marketing. Like marketing is a skill. How can I use words to portray the value of what I have and put it in front of the person who values it the most? We use an example in our coaching where it's like, let's use the bottle of water. You can have a bottle of water in Tesco's, maybe it's like £1. Same bottle of water in a filling station, maybe £2. Same bottle of water in an airport, maybe £3. But it's the same bottle of water. But the person who is selling it at the airport, who's managed to get it in the airport, they have now found the arena who will pay the most for it, and found the words and the messaging and the language that will get it in front of them.
The thing is, it's not even that. It's even more basic than that. At the airport, you need water.
Basically.
You can't go anywhere else.
Exactly, yeah. So positioning. Right? And I think this
and you've taken it away. It's been taken away from you at security, so therefore you now need it. It becomes more valuable once you've gone through those security.
So if like everybody has it within them to find an avenue where it's extremely high value. Like one of the concepts that we teach is high ticket. So anything can be sold. Like for example, your hair, the price that you're putting on it, there's an avenue that you could like double the price, maybe even triple, depending on where you put it. Yeah,
in Switzerland.
Switzerland is just down the road. Like,
there's less of it.
Exactly.
So there's always a strategy that can be applied. And that's one of the things that we help people to understand the strategy, but we give them the system to actually execute, because execution is also another thing that trips a lot of us up. But that's what we help to. Yeah.
Okay. So how do people get involved, and what's the process? What's your how do you have a consultation with people, and they sit down with you guys, they figure out what the business plan, do you identify the needs, or so how does it work?
We exactly what you said, we have consultations with people. So people either reach out to us, or if we might see somebody who looks like they're doing something but it's like they could do it better, more effectively, then we might reach out to them, be like, hey, I love what you're doing, love to have a chat with you about this, because we help people in your industry do X, Y, Z. But in terms of people reaching out to us, we do free consultations with people, find out where they're at, tell them about what we have to offer, so they can decide, if this is something that would work for them and their business, and then we explain how the process works, then we take it from there.
Okay, sounds cool. And then I think I did have So now, in terms of what would you say, like, imagine, actually, this is just for you guys. What's your most interesting business that you have kind of in your portfolio?
Interesting.
Or not, most like random or abstract that you've seen, or what's one that has really shown you
So
greater than you'd expected?
I think for me, it is basically dispelling the myth that people have around launching. I've got a couple of them. Most people come and it's like, oh, I have to wait until I have X, Y, and Z. I've got to wait till I've got, you know, like loads of followers, or I have to wait until, you know, I have developed my product a little more. So I'll give you two examples. We've got somebody that we worked with just recently, 0 followers. He didn't even have an Instagram or a Facebook account. But we put him through our strategy. You know, we created an account for him. We did a webinar funnel, and he made his first sale literally like the day after, right? And that sale is a high ticket sale. So high ticket sale is that in the region of, I don't know, thousands. Then there's another one who, you know, this is probably a couple of weeks back. He's on our program. We took him through the program, and within 2 weeks, he had pocketed 3.5 grand from selling, you know, a pre-launch. It didn't really even exist, his program, just yet, but we kind of took him through a pre-launch strategy, you know. So I think for me, I don't know whether you call it weird, but I love what happens when people see what's possible. Because when you see what's possible and you realize that, oh, it's not just possible for those guys over there, it's possible for us, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what you know, drives us, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the process then? How do people get in contact with you
So
guys? Where can they find
we have
you?
social media handles, so you can find me on @Bolaji Olatoye, BOLAJIOLATOYE. You can find for me at
Fumi_Olase, and you can just send us a DM.
Yeah.
And we can have a chat, and yeah, just basically find out more about yourself, and then you can find out more about our services. So we'll kind of have a standard service, but we're always happy to kind of look at the nuances of your business and see how we can make it work for you.
Yeah.
And the business is
Family Business Blueprint.
FBB.
FBB.
FBB. So Family Business Blueprint, and that's a page on Instagram.
Family Business Blueprint too. Yeah.
At some point. So key takeaways from this:
Definitely.
the time is now.
No,
you don't have to have everything in order. So far as you have with an idea and you know, commitment, then that's literally all it takes. And defining your audience as well. Okay. I feel like I'm thinking of a service that I can give to the people then for free. Nothing too taxing, you know. I'll just do like a 5-minute. I did one actually. I took on board you guys' tips actually from what I've read up, and I did like a little thing on Instagram about how to just gel your hair.
I saw that. I saw that, and I like that because you'd be surprised.
And
I used to Google that a lot on YouTube. I used to search how to get your hair nice and flat.
Yeah. And so stuff like that. So that's actually a good example. But we, like I said, for me, I think I know where my downfall is that mailing list. We need a mailing list. We need to work on that. So definitely be in contact. If there's anyone in the comments, I've got a couple of people still in, but I think it's really been good to talk, especially to have an actual conversation about it in terms of what you guys do and how it applies to businesses as well, because I'm not one for reading. Y'all know that. I don't read. I only do. But in terms of like physically understanding, and it makes sense. Like, I think I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who is like in the sorry, I set these breaks on Instagram, and I thought once you click once, no, they know you don't mean it. Get off. So anyway, she's in the influencing scene, and she's Lucy. She's been wearing my hair. Always worn my hair actually, but a recent video of hers went viral because of just the way the hair looks in it. And we were just analysing in terms of the customers, because there's so much interest, but it's converting those people to paying customers. And even in like the influencing world, you know, influencers, you can throw money at them, content creators, you can throw money at them to wear your brand or your product. They don't always translate to sales, but it's just like we were actually just going through like the stages of when you first of all they're first of all interested, then you kind of hook them in, and then it converts to a sale. And it's understanding at what point these people are. It's a bit of a journey, but also like,
Some,
yeah, it is a very
sometimes people
interesting space.
sometimes people
The
convert
amount
very
of-
quickly,
Yeah.
and sometimes people convert like 6
Mm.
months, 9 months, even 12 months later, right?
But to be honest with you, if you are an
Mm.
influencer, you're in one of the best positions, because the biggest challenge I would say for many people is, sorry, like people who want to like launch something, is the audience, like a warm audience, right? So and when you have a warm audience,
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
step one, because then it's a case of now we just work out a strategy of what can you offer, right? But the warm audience is the hurdle that many people need to cross first. But if you've already got that, then the strategy is a bit more straightforward.
Those are people you can actually leverage on quite a bit, actually, because they've already got the platform, so it's quite good. Yeah. And that's why I think more brands are definitely reaching out to like social media content creators, because we've always seen marketing has always been a very, very big business. It is often at times what runs most of these channels online. The Skies, because to have a Sky channel is very, very expensive. But brands pay, but now they've seen a cheaper alternative whilst in content creators, because even though these content creators can make actually quite a lot of money, that is still not a lot in comparison to what these brands would pay for general airtime and stuff like that. And this way, you even get with radio, you have to pay a subscription to get your numbers and your audience. But these ones with social media, you can actually see your audience, you can see the numbers. Almost, it's crazy. It's a big deal. But I think it's been a very, very interesting conversation. And definitely, I encourage those that if you have businesses, or even if you have an idea, even if you want to have a chat, I think. For those that have come through this platform or whatnot, you guys are offering them a
definitely free consultation.
Yes.
Okay, free consultation. I can even offer you guys a small 20% if you want to buy hair. But yeah, I think it's been one more time actually. If you just drop your socials, and I'll make sure to link them in the video.
No worries.
Live.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. We appreciate it. My handle is at BOLAJIOLATOYE.
And then my handle is at @Fumi_Olate. And you can also get us at Family Business Blueprint.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you guys. I think it's been a great platform as well to have you on. And yeah, guys, if you haven't, and don't forget the other family business building blocks. Let's get it in there one more time. Family business, and then another one because we're all a family. But it's been amazing. We'll catch up with you guys online.
Thanks so much, Tammy. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Good night. Bye.
Bye. Bye.